And once again, we want to thank Derek Settlemyer for joining us on the Fired Up podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast right now on Apple, Spotify, on the audio platforms, you're going to hear this all in one part. So the interview with Derek and this second part of the Fired Up podcast, it's all going to be one full part. But if you're watching us on YouTube, on our separate YouTube channels, TTP Sports, Flyers Fan Mania 93, and the new Fired Up podcast YouTube channel, you should go subscribe to that. We're going to do this in two parts. So the first part with Derek Settlemyer, that's going to be its separate video. And the separate part we're recording right now, that's going to be its separate part on the YouTube channels where we're talking about the recent news in the NHL right now. So let's continue with what's going on in the NHL right now. So like what we were talking about with Derek earlier in the beginning of his interview. So the NHL and the NHLPA, they're coming closer to talking about their CBA extension. So they're going through the voting process right now. We're waiting for the players' approval of the new tentative agreement. So that can shape up to be something good because we talked about it's possibly going to extend the CBA that's currently at it right now until 2026. Oh, yeah, 2026. Because the original CBA that's stated right now, it ends after the 2022 season. So this 4-year extension, it'll increase it to the 2026 season. And there's a possibility where the players from the NHL can go and play in the Winter Olympics in 2022 and 2026, and that can be something good right there. And we all know there's that whole problem with the escrow situation. The players don't like it, but it's shaping up to be a little positive that we're actually might going to get this extension in the next few days or so. Yeah, so Chris, like just like with this CBA talk, like they're finally able to get this extension going. And it's more beneficial just because everything you're seeing with the Major League Baseball going on, they're having this whole discussion like they were struggling to get their season back. And we all know down the line they're going to have those talks. But it's just nice knowing that the NHL is getting these talks done and underway, and that when this vote is done with the players, because right now it's not fully confirmed, but it's probably the most likely possibility that's going to happen because the voting period for the players ends tomorrow. So I feel like we're going to get that agreement probably in the next day or so until like everything is fully confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like, to be honest with you, it kind of made me think about the Olympics a little bit too, because it was like, you're struggling to figure out where to play in the North America, but you're gonna go to the Olympics.
Yep.
You're gonna go, I know it's a couple years down the road, but I mean, how long could this last? It's like
It's
this could last a long time.
it could.
And honestly, I think about it, and I think it was more, to sweeten the deal. And I mean, you think about it, they they have to do this for TV. Like this is the only time you can get a Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid versus Matthews and Kane and all these other
Ovechkin.
big names of Canada, United States, and you can go on and on for the other countries.
Yep.
Sweden, Finland, Slovakia, there's even some big names, right? Russia. I mean, Jesus. I mean, this could be huge for the NHL here because who wants to see Russia and Germany for the gold medal game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to see that anymore? And it wasn't
No
even
one
Russia. It was the Olympic athletes
from
from
Russia.
Russia. It
Yeah, when
was
Russia got banned from
yeah.
most of their athletes using steroids. So like that, yeah, that was a weird Olympics. Just because you didn't see the NHL players, and then like Russia was banned, but like Russia athletes could still participate. Like, and they had to go buy Olympic athletes from Russia. That was weird. That was just a weird situation.
Yeah, it was nuts. And Germany, solid team. I don't know if you watched that game. I believe the only NHL players on that team were Gusev, now in the Devils, and Pavel Datsyuk. I
Yep.
believe those were that was it.
I think
I
Kovalchuk was on Russia too.
Kovalchuk, yep, he was also on Russia as well. That was the other one. But I mean, I like the Olympics. I mean, the other thing is now is that that's another 2 weeks out of the schedule.
Yep.
So got to plan that in. Do they
Yep.
shorten the All-Star game weekend? Do they put that at a later date? Do they move it up? You don't know what happens.
Never know.
Obviously, there's talk with the first game of the season being the Winter Classic. You never really know what happens there. I like it. I do. As for the cap, it's staying at 81.5 till 2022, 2023.
And it's gonna
Uh,
sting a lot.
that's going to hurt the Flyers. I don't know, realistically, I don't think these next couple of years the Flyers have to be spenders. I think it's more let's contend.
Yep.
So I don't necessarily think free agency is going to be a problem, but they don't have the best moving the best movable contracts. They have some, but not the greatest.
Yeah.
Um, compared to other teams, like St. Louis is one that comes to mind. A lot of movable contracts of guys that can still play in this league.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to hurt the Flyers, and only going up to 82.5. That, I mean, only $1 million is so much. Obviously, there's been talk about the ELCs as well. There's been now, you can get up to $1 million for your entry level contract. That's a
Yep.
big thing. And Amadeo, now as I'm looking on Instagram, Derek did just post something for us on his Instagram, which is why I've been smiling for the last 10 minutes. But again, if you guys are, obviously, as Amadeo said, if you're listening on the regular podcast, Spotify, Apple, and if you're on YouTube, that was a unbelievable interview, one of the best I think we've ever done, to be honest.
It definitely was.
It was awesome. I had a great time. But as for the talks, Wyatt Kalynuk, that sucks.
It definitely was.
It's I'm not mad. I'm not upset. But it sucks. And I'm not like, it's just like whatever. I think it's, I think realistically with the NCAA and Big Ten now saying with football they might not even play. It's like his chances of going back to college for his senior year are kind of slimming on, right? So we were kind of thinking there, like, all right, I think he's probably going to try to play in the NHL.
Yeah.
And, for being a 7th round pick and knowing when you have a shot, you have to take it. It wasn't like, he couldn't help the Flyers. He has to do what's best for him. That's what he did.
Yes.
He goes with a team that has, I mean, it's not like the Blackhawks don't have, bad prospects or bad defensive prospects. Compared to Philadelphia, completely different. Flyers are very loaded. He's got to go through many guys. Ronnie Attard, Cam York, Mason Millman, Igor Zamola. I could go on and on. Wyatt Wiley. I mean, and those are just guys he has to go behind. I mean, imagine how long he would have had to wait 2-3 years.
And credit to the players that are already on the team right now. You got Provorov, Sanheim, Myers, Haig, all those players got to spare.
The Flyers have depth from the first D pair to the 7th defenseman.
Yes.
It's not it's not like it's going to be a humongous thing here, for Kalynuk, and it's going to be tough for him. And again, being a 7th-round pick, and then I'm even thinking I'm even forgetting Linus Hogberg as well.
Yeah.
And some may argue he's better, but I'm just saying in general that's just another name that he'd have to fight up against. But I wish Kalynuk the best.
Definitely.
I think he's going to be a great player in this league, and I honestly think he's going to be very good in Chicago.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely the best option for him. Like you said, like just with like a bunch with all the depth that the Flyers have in defense, like he wasn't going to make it anywhere. And plus, he's age 22 right now. A lot of the players that are on the Flyers right now, they're like around age 22 on the defensive pair, like even younger, maybe like in their early 20s, 21, 22. Provorov is in his early 20s. Sanheim's in his early 20s. Phil Myers, Robert Haig, Gostisbehere's in his mid-20s, and then so on and so forth with all the other younger prospects. And it's just like there really just wasn't that much room for him. So Kalynuk, he took the best opportunity that he had. He signed in Chicago, and at this point, like you said, Chris, you just got to wish him the best of luck, and that's what you got to do. And just going back to the talks with the CBA and like the dates for the NHL Phase 3, Phase 4, like right now they're tentative, but like these are probably what might happen in regards to when the CBA and all these other talks are fully agreed upon. So we're probably looking towards right now, July 24th is when teams are going to travel to the hub cities. So I think around July 13th, around then is when Phase 3 is going to start, where training camps players can come in and go to their training facilities to have full team workouts. And then on July 24th, those teams can go travel to their hub cities. And the hub cities right now, they're going to be Toronto and Edmonton. So 2 Canadian cities. The Eastern Conference is going to go to Toronto. Western Conference is going to go to Edmonton. So on July 25th, once those teams are in their hub cities, that's when the exhibition games are going to start to get the teams warmed up. And then on July 30th, that will be when the qualifying rounds begin. And for note, for these qualifying rounds, the statistics that carry over from the qualifying round, they're going to carry over into the 16-team tournament for the playoffs. So stats are going to carry over. So technically the qualifying rounds count as the Stanley Cup playoffs. For people who like don't agree with the format or all that stuff, they're the playoffs, so you're going to have to deal with that. And then so on August 9th, that is when the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs is going to begin. That's when the 16-team tournament starts. And then August 23rd, that'll be when the second round starts, the semifinals. And then September 6th, that's when both Western Conference and the Eastern Conference finals begin. And then September 20th through October 2nd, that'll be the Stanley Cup Final, and October 2nd could be the last possible day for the Stanley Cup Final to be played. So that'll be Game 7. And then we're looking towards the draft maybe being a couple days after the Stanley Cup Finals. And then we're looking towards November, possibly for a training camp. And then, like Chris said, the Winter Classic could possibly be the first game of the NHL season. I've been hearing also December could be the start of the NHL season. It's just like up in the air right now because even though this is probably the most likely outcome that's going to happen, it's still not 100% confirmed until the players get their agreement in for the new CBA, until the agreement for these contract talks end. And I think it's going to be, I feel like these are what the dates are going to be, though. I feel like that's what it's going to end up to be. And it's going to be a fun time. Just so now that we know the dates are going to be set very soon, we can get excited for hockey. We all know that MLB is starting at the end of the month. The NBA has their date set. And then the NHL, they're going to be starting around the same time. It's going to be a nice end to the month of July. Get baseball starting on July 24th. NBA and hockey starting around the same time. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun. And Chris, I know I'm going to be glued to my couch or whatever I am in the house, just watching my television, watching sports. It's going to be a fun time. I'm not going to leave my couch. I'm going to make sure I have all the screens around me as possible, watching something. It's going to be a very fun time. And I know you're probably going to do the same exact thing.
Yeah, I probably will, man. It's yeah, especially with the way the schedule is and the timing. Oh, it's going to be great.
It's definitely going to be great. And so going off of the CBA talks and into a little bit of Flyer stuff. So when we talked about, like, when we were going over the Ron Hextall era, how we saw Oskar Lindblom practicing with the team on the ice. So it was at the beginning of July. We saw a video from the Flyers Instagram. They were posting something like what are they going to post at, like, I think it was like at 1:23 in the afternoon. They posted on Twitter. And then at 1:23 in the afternoon, they posted a video in the hospital showing Oskar Lindblom getting applause from the nurses, from the doctors. As he goes to ring the bell, that means he's clearing off his final treatments for his cancer. And that, just watching that video, it's amazing. It's amazing to see. And it's hard not to have a tear come out of your eye from that. It's like, that's just like, you know, like from what all he's been through, being diagnosed with cancer, then having the league being shut down due to COVID, having to deal with cancer during COVID, and to come out of treatments during COVID, fine. He's done with his treatments. He's fine with cancer. And, you know, in the near future, he can come back to be playing in the NHL. And, you know, his first game back, that's going to be amazing. His first game back.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be a tearjerker. Dude, I mean, that game versus Anaheim when they had the signs, that was a tearjerker.
It was. It definitely was.
It was unreal.
Imagine he comes back his first game and he scores a goal. Like, I'm not going to compare it to, like, Mario Lemieux when he came back from cancer, but, like, this is like our version of it. Oskar Lindblom comes back, his first game, and who knows, maybe he scores a goal in his first game back. Imagine how crazy the crowd's going to go for that. Even if there's a crowd in the stands during that time. But still, like, just imagine, like, what happens, like, seeing Oskar Lindblom being able to play hockey, most likely in the near future. That's going to be something special. It's going to be something special. And Chris, I know, like, you were, like, at the beginning of this, you were very heartbroken just to see it. A lot of fans were heartbroken, but, like, what was your reaction just seeing that video of Oskar ringing the bell?
I felt bad tears, to tell you that. That was tough. I mean, and, you know, I talked about this in my video. I didn't bring this up on the pod. I lost my grandma to cancer a couple years ago, and you know, that was tough. I was young. I never went through anything like that at the time. I was 12. And my cousin also had it when he was 8. He had it for 7 years. It's tough. I mean, I never felt, you know, I never had cancer like that, and I don't want to, you know, take anything out of, you know, the story, but it's tough. And, you know, seeing, you know, them go through that and things like that, you know, it's tough. And it's good to see how quick Oskar was able to come back like that. To be honest with you, I think the last thing on my mind is when he's coming back on the ice. Like, I honestly couldn't give two shits of when he comes back on the ice. I'm more as like, dude, I said this to you before. Like, I would rather him wait a year. You know, like I would rather them play it safe and let him wait a year.
Yep.
If he's okay and the doctors say he's okay and he has the okay to play, then that's fine. You can go ahead. But
Yep.
if I'm gonna play this safe. I really don't want them to push anything out there like it's not. I mean, I know it's not like it's an injury or anything like that, but you never know. So anything could happen like that. So I just wish the best for him, and it was unreal, man. It really was unreal.
Definitely. I agree with 100% for you, 100% with you. And it's just like you said, just like take time with this process. And we all know there's never going to be a sense of normalcy right now with the NHL. So who knows like how long it can be until we're back at normal, until we're like back at a normal schedule, normal situation. You get the fans in the stands and all that. It might be a very long time, but it's nice to see just something happy. You get to see Oskar ringing that bell just to showcase that he's finally done with his cancer treatments and he can finally start to probably get back to somewhat of a normal life. And that's good to see from Oskar. And into some other news regarding the NHL. This is really the final news of the day for us. So the Devils, they were looking for a new head coach. It's been rumored. I felt like they were going to hire Gerard Gallant. That was like one of the rumors. Then that turned out to be false. And then there was other rumors like Peter Laviolette, where they're going to hire John Stevens. But no, they hire former Buffalo Sabres coach and Dallas Stars coach Lindy Ruff. And for the Devils' standpoint, I think that's a good hire for them. I know, like as a Flyers fan, you're thinking the Devils are gonna you hope the Devils they would hire like a bad coach and all that stuff, like a John Stevens, like an old outdated coach that's not going to help them. But Lindy Ruff, I feel like that's a good option for them. He's been with Buffalo for a while. He's had a lot of success with Buffalo. He had success with Dallas. Sadly, he never got to win that Stanley Cup, but he's had success in this league. He's a highly respected coach, and I feel like he's going to work well to help shape out that Devils roster that needs to desperately be fixed. Because the whole situation, they were expected to be good this year. They didn't turn out to be good. And who knows if they're going to go through like a second rebuild 2.0 since they don't have Taylor Hall anymore. And they basically got to revamp their roster again and build around their young pieces. So, and Chris, like, what do you think about this signing?
I like it for New Jersey. I talked about this last night on the Flyers Nitty Gritty podcast with Yuri and Jamie. We brought this up, and it's good for them because it's not it's not a huge name, right? It's not like it's a big name, and I don't really think there was that need for them to get a big name. I think realistically, Jersey just needs a guy to help out that locker room. They have a lot of rookies. They have their fair amount of veterans. They have the goaltender Mackenzie Blackwood. They have some solid defensemen. Obviously, PK Subban, David Severson, Connor Carrick, and then there's many more as well. You obviously have Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, and then you have the veterans still, Travis Zajac. It's going to take. I think there are maybe 4 or 5 years still behind, and some may argue 2 to 3. I don't see that. I think you can argue it. Yes, I don't see it. I think a lot would have to happen in 2 or 3 years for New Jersey to really get back to like they were when they were really like they would kill the Flyers every time they played them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a while. And it's funny, like we talked about this last night, like how I was kind of just like, yeah, like let's let them wait like 10 years and just be bad for a while. But seriously though, I think it's going to take some time. I think they're in the right direction. It's so weird saying like this as a Flyers fan. Oh my God.
Yep.
But
I feel you right there.
it's just like I'm like complimenting New Jersey. Ugh. But it's like, I think they have their veterans. They have a lot of cap space. They have around 8.7 million in cap space.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid. They could go out for someone in free agency. Who knows if they go out again for Taylor Hall? I do not see that happening at all.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't need the goaltender, Braden Holtby. And it's funny. I brought that up on the pod last night. Should they go after Braden Holtby? Completely forgot that they had Mackenzie Blackwood. I was like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. But anyway, like yeah, I mean, realistically, I think it's gonna take them time. I think it's just going to be a little bit more than what people were really expecting because it's just going to take a little bit of time. I think that's really the biggest thing.
I agree 100% with you right there, and that's like you said, it's like it's weird saying like good stuff about the Devils like they did something good. It's just like, whoa, like I'm a Flyers fan and I said something good about the Devils. That's weird. That is very, very weird. But we are getting towards the end of this episode of the Flyer Up podcast, and like once again, we want to thank Derek Settlemeyer for joining us earlier for the interview. It was fun. It was a very, very great time, and like I said, if you're listening to the audio version of this, this is going to be one full podcast, so it's going to be the part that we're recording right now, plus the Derek Settlemeyer interview. But if you're watching us on our YouTube channels, so on the Flyer Up Pod YouTube channel, the Flyers Fan Mania 93 channel, or TTP Sports, you're going to see the Derek Settlemeyer interview as one part, and then this podcast as a separate part. So it was a fun day. It was a fun night of talking with Derek Settlemeyer, talking some hockey, talking some memories, and it was fun. And Chris, I know you had a lot of fun, and I know you're probably still talking to Derek right now.
I am in the middle of attempting to, yes.
Definitely. So thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Flyered Up podcast. We're getting closer and closer to NHL action, the Flyers playoff hockey, and it's going to be a very fun time. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Flyered Up podcast, and we will see you next time. Going to get this extension in the next few days or so, and Chris, I know this is going to be a big thing for the NHL right now, just so they can get these talks out of the way. They could get the CBA extended. They don't have to worry about this in another few years down the road like the MLB is going through right now. It's just good that they're getting these talks underway right now, and they're probably going to finish them for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
What?
The talks are done.
They are?
Yeah, they're finalized.
They are?
Yeah.
No, because I know they were... There's a vote for the players. There's a vote for the players that finishes on the 10th. They still have to agree to it for the final vote.
You're right. My bad. I forgot about that. Fuck. All right. My bad. All right. Just
wrap it. Blooper. Blooper.
We should post this on YouTube too.
Blooper.
Oh god.
That's funny.
I know they finalized it, and then I'm thinking to myself like, wait, I'm like, does he not know that they didn't finalize it already? And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, shit.
No, because I saw like a thing on Twitter from the NHLPA, like the voting window closes for the players on July 10th. So that's probably when you're going to get the official, like the agreement. Like all this stuff is going through, but it's not like this is not fully confirmed, if you know what I mean. Like it's probably what's going to happen, but it's not fully set yet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay. That was funny. That was funny.
Fucking idiot. Fucking dope.
What a dope. Oh, God. What a day.
What a fucking day.
I'll just keep recording. I'll start over.
Yeah, that's fine. No, you don't have to start over. Just keep going from where you were going from.
Okay. So we were talking about the CBA. Okay. Because I can easily just cut that out.